welcome to Anything Everything Garage Sale Flipping. My oh my, how time flies. I know it's been a few weeks since we uploaded a new video. That's due to the fact that despite going out every single weekend in December to try and find great garage sales, great items to flip, we've had zero luck basically. I went out every single weekend, have been able to get out of the house at 6 and I'm back at 8. Literally like a 2-hour turnaround. That just kind of speaks to the fact that there's no more than like 2 to 5 garage sales that are actually listed and worth going to. And then when you go to them, you don't really find much. And I think a lot of it's just due to the timing. I think more folks are focused right now on the holidays, getting their gifts, getting the wrapping done, maybe even having to figure out the whole shipping process because let's face it, a lot of us aren't going to be able to be face-to-face this year as we typically are during the holiday season. So I think a lot of focus has just been shifted to that and not garage sales per se. So that's definitely one element as to why we haven't been able to provide new content. But honestly, even if I had new content, I probably wouldn't have got around to editing it. I underestimated how busy we would be in December. We were blessed with a great spike in sales on eBay, on OfferUp, all good problems, definitely. So today, I don't come to you with new footage from a garage sale, right, as you can imagine, but instead I thought, why not recap how 2021 finished for us? As many of you will know, when we started the channel, we had a profit of about $11,000 to date at the time. Today, as of December 29th when we're filming this, our profit is up to $17,000. So definitely continuing to grow the business. As mentioned, this is just our side hustle, so we don't take it serious from the point of view where we're trying to make a living off this. It's literally fun to be able to negotiate every weekend and find awesome things to flip, but it's also just good, discretionary income to have. So it's been a blessing to be able to find this and do this on the side while continuing to do, what we do for full time and what our passion is there. But in addition to the recap on how we finished as far as total profit, I thought, why not go through some rankers? Let's take a look at what were the most expensive items that we purchased in 2020. Let's look at what were the worst items we purchased in 2020, because those might not be the same. And on top of that, I thought, why not go through the top finds of 2020? So without further ado, if you're interested, let's take a look. Starting off with the most expensive items purchased in 2020 to flip. Now remember, this is based off of the cost, not necessarily what it sold for or the profit. This is simply based off what were the most expensive items purchased in 2020. Let's take a look. Coming in at number 1 was a Nintendo Switch Lite, which included 2 games and cost $150. Now, we were able to sell the console on its own for $175, giving us a profit there of $25. However, that wasn't really the reason why we bought it, to just make $25 off of it. We figured those games we can repurpose since they were in mint condition and actually use as gifts for the holidays. So there we easily saved somewhere between $60 to $80. So we're looking at more about a $100 flip on that $150 purchase. Coming in at number 2, 5, 6, and 7 is the Wii U console. Now the tip that I want to give you guys when it comes to any console in general is when you find a great console to flip, don't automatically assume that you need to resell it in the same bundle that you found it in. So many of these consoles that I find, I am finding them with games, with pro controllers, with multiple Wii controllers with the nunchuck. And when I sell it, I'm selling the console, 1 controller, and maybe like a middle-ish game. And by that I mean like I'm not selling it with a Mario game in there that I can get $25 to $30 on its own, but I'm not giving like the cheapest game either, right? Somewhere in the middle where it makes the bundle appealing, but you're not giving too much and you're still able to use everything else from the bundle to repurpose and sell and make more money off of. So that's my one tip when it comes to selling any type of video game bundles. At number 3 was a sewing machine. Now, we didn't buy this with the intention of flipping. We actually purchased this item because we wanted to execute a few items and ideas that we had for certain projects. Quickly, we realized sewing was not for us, so we realized, let's just sell it. Let's make use of this money elsewhere. And thankfully, we didn't even just break even. We sold it for $140, making $20 off of it. But that was another expensive item that we bought this year. Coming in at number 4 was a PS Vita Slim. Now, this little handheld console came in absolutely mint condition. It was like someone purchased the item, brand new, put it into a case, stored it away in a cabinet, and never played with it, and just waited to sell it to some guy named Alex years down the road. It was an awesome find. We paid $80 for it. Now, the one tip that I want to give you was the execution strategy that we had on selling this item. When I was pulling up comps, I knew that I could sell it quickly for $200. If I wanted to wait around, maybe $250, $300, because it included a game with it. However, what was interesting was at the time I went to list it, there was currently an auction going on for a unit, and there was also a buy now option, and they were both way underpriced, like way underpriced. The auction was almost going to be over 2 days later, and it was barely at like 140. And sure, it can jump up high, but it ended up selling for somewhere like around 160, and then the buy now was also around that 160, 170 range. So I figured, why compete with that type of pricing when I could just wait for those to sell, clear off of eBay, and then upload mine for the $200 price range, which I think is conservative, but that's the minimum I want to take. And that's exactly what we did. We were able to list our item and sell it almost immediately for the price we wanted. But what do you guys think? Have you guys ever executed a similar strategy? I feel like if you have the luxury of being able to wait on selling an item, why not? Don't sell yourself short by trying to have to beat the lowest price currently listed if you know that the history shows it's been selling for more. Might as well wait. I'm doing the exact same thing at this moment with another Wii U unit that I'm actually going to show you. This Splatoon exclusive Wii U console. This is another one that when I checked about 2 weeks ago, there was someone listing it for like $150, which I think is a little bit too low. So I'm going to wait until that clears out. Once it does, I'm going to list this guy for $250 to $300. And hey, if somebody's willing to send me an offer on it somewhere around that range, then I'm good. But I'm in no rush to sell it. So use that to your advantage. Skipping number 5, 6, and 7 since they are reused. Looking at number 8, we have a PSP 3000 console. Now, this was my first time ever purchasing one of these, so I purchased it with the intention of flipping it for sure, but also just to learn a little bit more about the unit itself, the games, get an understanding of pricing. Ended up getting this PSP 3000 console for $70 in total, but it included about 16 games. We ended up selling it for only $120, as there was a lot of comps, like a ton of them, around that price range. So I figured I can't really execute the strategy of waiting there because there was just so many. I'd probably hold on to it for like a year and not make much off of it. So I figured, like, let's get it out the door. Sold it for $120, made $50 profit on it. Not bad. At number 9, and I won't spend too much time on it here because we will focus on it in the top finds of 2020, is a Star Wars mystery bundle theme that we found. It was a great find. All I will share right now is that all we paid for it was $60, and it has brought in so much profit for us, but more to come on that a little bit later. And coming in at number 10 was the PC gaming equipment box that we came across in our last video. We paid $60 for this. To sell all of it, we ended up spending about $96, and our sales in total was $485, giving us a total profit of $329, which is why I don't mind spending a lot more money per item or per find at a garage sale when it's going to give us a return like this. Now, $60 may not be a expensive purchase for many of you, or maybe way too much for many of you, right? I tend to find things under $20 at yard sales, so this to me is definitely one of the pricier things, but would love to hear what you guys have come across. Have you guys had any crazy expensive finds at yard sales that end up being great? Or even on the opposite, have you guys spent a lot of money on something that didn't end up turning out too well and you just broke even or maybe even lost some money? Would definitely love to hear your story, so make sure to leave that in the comment section below. Next, let's look at the worst items purchased in 2020. Now, this isn't to brag, but thankfully we didn't have too many to list. Actually, I found it hard to find things that ended up being a really bad purchase. So I was able to identify two, so let's take a look at what those were. And the first one was we bought a big set of baseball cards, and we've literally been able to do nothing with them. We spent $80 on these boxes of baseball cards. They've been listed, have had zero traction, so we'll probably have to either relist them or drop the price, but we paid $80 on them. I initially was asking about $150. It's already down to $120. So if we're lucky, we'll break even on that. But that was probably a crappy purchase that I made. But I thought, baseball cards, you know, there's collectors out there, but goes to show you, I didn't do my homework, and I probably spent a little bit too much on that, but I won't admit that to my wife. The other item, which is the worst item purchase, but it's only the worst because of the scenario that ended up happening. We found a very, very clean iPad at a garage sale where we actually made a killing, which is why I don't mind having this be part of the, offset to the profit we already made. But we paid $40 for it, and it ended up being locked. And although we had paid the seller through Venmo, so we're able to stay in touch and let them know that the iPad was locked, and if they can please remove the account that was associated to it. Long story short, it ended up not happening. We lost communication with him, and we just have a really nice iPad laying around that, from my understanding, isn't the easiest to just get unlocked because of the way it's locked. But after we tried for about a few days, we just left it sitting there. It wasn't worth the time. Maybe at some point I will relook into it, but at the moment it's $40 just sitting somewhere in the house at this point. Moving on to the top 10 finds of 2020, coming in at number 1 was the Wii Mystery Bundle. Now, when I came across this listing, it showed 3 big bins full of Wii accessories. Now, I could tell that there was beyond just Wii accessories in there, such as like PlayStation controls, maybe even some GameCube stuff, but when I bought it, I wasn't all that educated on gaming consoles in general. I just knew that I was starting to have some momentum with Wii consoles and PlayStation games and Xbox games, that I just wanted to get more familiar in general so that I can dive a little bit deeper into that avenue. Decided to make the leap, purchased it for $60, and today our sales with everything that was included in there has been $645. So our profit to date is at $585, and we still have a ton of authentic cables to get through and more Wii controls. So that was definitely a solid find, and I'm sure as I'll put around the video, you'll get an idea of what was included in there, just so you guys have a little bit of more context to it. Coming in at number 2 was another bundle. We found a Nerf bundle that was a 2-hour drive for us, okay? But we knew that it would be worth it if we were able to be the first ones to grab it. We ended up paying $300 for approximately 25 to 30 Nerf blasters, and we gifted about 4 or 3 of them across like the 2-3 months after we purchased them, but we were actually able to sell out of everything we bought in that lot within like a month and a half. So we paid, with shipping included, for everything that did sell in that bundle was $326 total cost. Our sales from that was $810, which left us with a profit of $484. Coming in at number 3, and mentioned earlier, was a Star Wars bundle. Now, the interesting story about this, and a good technique as well, we got to this garage sale and we noticed that there was bins of Star Wars stuff. and we had kind of overheard what he was asking for per mask. So I decided to take the approach of asking for a completely different theme because we had a party that we were trying to prepare for. So I said, hey, you know, we're about to have this Nerf theme party, and we were wondering if you have any blasters or anything related to Nerf, because we just want to get a bunch of accessories for the party that we're about to have in 2 weeks. And sure enough, he said, I don't have anything Nerf, but I do have a ton of Star Wars themed items in case you're considering switching the theme to a Star Wars theme. And, you know, we giggled about it, and then I said, well, what are you asking for? Because it might not be a bad idea. You know, I know my son does like Star Wars, so it might actually work. He initially wanted 150, to which I reacted as if he had slapped me across the face, and I was like, whoa, like, oh, okay, well, thank you, like, we're gonna keep looking. And I knew he was in a position where he really did want to sell it, and he followed up by saying, well, what's a fair price? My response to that was, honestly, I think there's a big gap between what you want and what I was thinking, so I just don't want to offend you. And you said, no, it's okay. Like, what are you thinking? I was like, honestly, I don't think I can give you anything more than 50 on it. And he was like, oh. He's like, well, you know, would you be willing to give me 100? And so, you know, we're talking about from 150 down to 100 already. And because he did that, and he was willing to come down, I knew there was more wiggle space. So I said, you know, I think we're good. Unfortunately, like, we are stuck on this Nerf theme, so I think we're gonna go off with that. And he was actually willing to let us walk away from it. So I said, hey, what about if I give you 60? Would you take 60? To which he wanted 80, and then I just stayed firm at 60. I said, look, I'll take it for 60, and you can keep the bins. And he, for whatever reason, that worked, and he was like, all right, fine, dude, like, go ahead and take it. So we paid $60 on this set. Counting shipping of everything we've sold in there, our cost has been $286, but our sales have been $654, which has given us a profit to date of $368. So awesome find as well. Coming in at number 4 was the PC gaming box that we found, and I posted about, I want to say, in our last video. We ended up being able to flip everything that was in that bin, which was a steering wheel, a flight simulator, whatever you would call it, like the handles to it, and also a random keyboard that was in there. We ended up paying, with shipping and what we paid for the bin, $170, and our sales were $515, which left us at a profit of $345. So that was our number 4 top find of 2020. At number 5 was actually the cash register that we showed a few videos back, and that actually sold today. So perfect timing. We paid $40 for that. We sold it for $330, giving us a profit of $290. At number 6, this was before we even kicked off this channel, we found a inflatable paddle board. It was brand new, open box, but brand new. It still had the wrapping and everything. They were asking initially like over 100 for sure. We ended up taking it for 50, and then with the shipping that we paid, our total cost is at 91. We were able to sell that for 325, and this was like in the prime of the whole lockdown. So we were surprised that we were able to get this sold, but we did, and so we made a profit of 224 off of that paddleboard. Coming in at number 7 was an incredible find as well. We actually paid $0 for this. It was listed for free. Whoever can come pick it up first. It was a giant box of Nerf footballs. Some were a little beat up, but most of them were in really, really good condition. So I was able to get there first because I was already en route to find other things and pick other things up. So I went to go get it. Completely filled up my entire trunk, and to date we still haven't sold out of them, but to date we have sold $230 worth of footballs, have only had to pay $6 in shipping, giving us a profit of $224. At number 8 was the Yeti mic. Now this was a great find. We paid $5 for this Yeti mic, and within days it sold. We ended up selling it for $190, giving us a profit of $185. Coming in at number 9 was another great story on how we negotiated something down. Now this one needed no negotiation. Honestly, the price was phenomenal, but the whole reason why I continue to do this is because I enjoy the negotiation part of it. I love knowing that I'm able to bargain somebody down, and just see how far I can take it. Honestly, it's to some people, they don't like that. It's not their thing. They don't even like people that do that. But that's what makes it fun for me. So if it's not your style, I apologize. But that's, what keeps me going on this. So we found this Beatles drum set. It was an exclusive drum set for PS3, and it came with the box. It came with the manual. It looked like it was complete, which it ended up being, but whenever you can't verify that and they're not 100% sure to say it is complete, use that towards your advantage. That's another tip. Just say, do you know if it's complete? If they say no, then make that be the reason why you're scratching your head and you're not sure if you want to commit. Now, note, they only wanted about $30 for it up front, which is a great price, but I'm never going to take the price that they set right off the bat if I haven't even tried negotiating. Now, if they're stuck at 30, then I would have went with 30, but I could tell there was some wiggle room. I ended up getting them down to 15 after, saying, well, does it work? Oh, you're not sure? Well, yeah, that's my concern. It's a big box to take home and not for it not to work, scratching my head, thinking about it, acting like I'm calling my nephews and sending them pictures of it, which really that's just when I'm actually scanning it to see some comps on it. So we ended up getting it down to 15. Shipping, once we sold it, was $35. So our total cost for this item was $50. We sold it for $200, and that gave us a profit of $150. Not a bad flip. Finally, coming in at number 10 is another one of my favorites. It's one of those where it's just a free item, and you're able to sell it for a lot or sell many of them to get you to a nice little profit. We actually got this DVD set of a TV show. I'm blanking out on the name, but I'm going to show it on the screen. We ended up getting it for free at a yard sale that was basically going to finish already. And so they were like, just take it. It's fine. Nobody showed any interest in it. You can just have it. I was like, great. Didn't even scan it for comps or anything. Turns out it sells for anywhere between $150 to $200. So we were able to sell it for $140 quickly right out the gate. $140 profit. We didn't have to pay shipping on that. That was on the buyer's end. So solid find. That, folks, concludes the top 10 finds of 2020. Now, I do have some noteworthy items that I also wanted to throw out there, which was we found early in the year, we found a locker, like a straight up school locker type, imagine, that was posted for free on Craigslist. Same story, whoever can pick it up first, we're willing to hold. And so we were able to get it free. We sold it for $120. Maybe 2 months later, we had it posted for quite some time, but we had the space to store away, so it was a easy $120 in profit. This one scared us for a long time because we almost felt like it made no sense why somebody was paying this much for a little action figure, and we wanted to make sure that they knew that it was just the figure itself. It didn't come with this code that it's supposed to have. This was a big hex figure. I'll show you a picture of it. Now, I did some research on it and I was like, wow, these go for a lot. Mind you, we paid nothing for it. It was, again, one of those garage sales where we got there at the very end. They're like, just take whatever you want. Picked up this random action figure that I just, it looked rare enough to me where I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw it in this bag. Turns out, people have sold it for over $100 at some point. But as I did more research, I realized the ones that did sell for that amount had some sort of a code with it, and to which I knew mine didn't. So I listed this at 50, made sure in the description to detail that out. I said it's only the action figure, it doesn't come with anything else. And someone bought it. I confirmed this before even shipping it out. I said, hey, thank you for your purchase. Just want to confirm that you read the description so that there's no miscommunication here. This is just the action figure. Can you please confirm? They never did. So days went by, then a week went by, and I said, well, we got to ship it out. He's not replying. I sent multiple reminders and follow-ups and nothing. So we shipped it out and just crossed our fingers that we wouldn't at some point get a return request. That never happened, and we ended up profiting $50 off this silly little action figure that was free to us. Another solid find, and this is another good tip. Now this isn't, I wouldn't call it a tip. I would say it's more of a keep your eye out and try to be aware of when this is happening. We had listed a bundle of Build-A-Bear items on OfferUp, and we opened the shipping as an option for it. Now I want to say that we posted it for like $25 and we laid everything out. For whatever reason, we didn't do research on each item. We just said, let's just try to get this out. $25 everything. Somebody reached out to us that wanted it shipped and said, would you be willing to sell the Alice in Wonderland dress on its own? I'd be willing to buy that. And the fact that somebody reached out specifically for an item and knew the name of that item, that dress, automatically was like, wait, there has to be something to it, something that we just overlooked. So quickly, I went onto Google, put Alice in Wonderland Build-A-Bear dress. What do I know? On eBay, it's selling somewhere between $60 to $100 over the last 90 days. I was like, holy crap. Automatically took down the listing on OfferUp before anybody purchased it at that price, because she got greedy. She could have just bought it at $25 and it would have been a win for her, but she wanted specifically that item and didn't want to pay for the full lot. So we took it down, listed it on its own, and we were able to sell that Build-A-Bear Alice in Wonderland dress for $60 within like 2 weeks after listing it. Crazy, right? Would love to hear if you guys have had any similar experience. Leave it in the comment below. What was another one? Another Nerf blaster. Now, I've sold about 7 of these, and it always surprises me what people are willing to pay for these, specifically on eBay, but also what people sell them for locally around me. So this is called a Long Strike CS6 blaster by Nerf. Now, I typically find them anywhere between $5 to $15. I won't pay more than $15, even though technically I still can and make a pretty decent profit. But I paid $7 for this. They paid shipping on it, and I sold it for $50, giving us a profit of $43. And I've had the same blaster, very similar profits on it 7 times. So this is one of those that's noteworthy. Didn't make the cut on the top finds in 2020, but definitely noteworthy. I look forward to reading your comments below. Definitely feel free to ask any questions. Let me know what resonated with you about this video. If there's anything that you'd like me to add going forward. I definitely plan to continue to upload in 2021 as content becomes available. At the end of the day, I only want to upload content that I believe will bring you guys value, some entertainment, but I never want to just upload for the sake of uploading. Well guys, that's it for 2020. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in 2021. Until then, we are Anything Everything Garage Sale Flipping. Peace.